Welcome back to the whiteboard. We're going to talk about Iowa and Rutgers, and more specifically Iowa's defense. And if you watched the game, you probably saw this play, and depending on what side you're rooting for, you were either saying, oh my gosh, why did he do that? Or, why did he do that? One of those two reactions. So, okay, there's a really bad play, or so it looks like, where the quarterback gets hit really hard by what looks like an unblocked defender, and there's an interception to a player who returns it for a touchdown. Well, okay, let's take apart those two things. One, how did the quarterback get hit in the face? Was it a bad play, bad protection, or really good defense? So pre-snap reads we talk about all the time, and we're going to come back to this. We got a Quentin Tarantino thing. We're going to watch the same play 3 times. So Iowa has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. And Rutgers has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen and a running back just in case. So we should be protected, right? We should have 5 guys to block 5 guys. Well, Joe Evans on the top here is who I want you to watch. What he is going to be doing is he should probably deserve half a sack. As this play starts to unfold, he's not trying to get a sack. What you can see him doing is he's trying to collapse this edge. He's trying to take this tackle and turn his shoulders all the way in. Now, why is this important? So let's find Luke Van Ness, who actually ends up getting the hit. Right now, he's sitting right in the middle. And you'll see him just kind of playing patty cake with the center. Because what is he doing? He's actually doing a nose all the way out stunt. So he's going to come out outside of 2 different defenders, and he's going to play all the way around. Now, at this point, a normal offensive lineman in a normal situation is going to take his guy, so this offensive tackle, would take his man that he's blocking and pass him off to the guard so he can get the guy who's coming around him, because you kind of have to take who the most pressing threat is. Well, Joe Evans has done a really good job of getting into that tackle's chest, turning his shoulders, and not leaving him the chance to come out. So what does that end up with? Luke Van Ness killing your quarterback. Okay, now let's take a look at the other play. So bad protection, good defense. Mix them both together, you get a quarterback hit. Well, how do you get an interception? Let's understand what this quarterback is thinking before we start saying that's a really bad play. Okay, back to pre-snap reads. Before we look at a pre-snap read, we're going to look at 2 high safeties, and we're going to look at presumably what I think is probably a man look, right? We have man eyes and man posture up here by Riley Moss. You've got man eyes and man posture up here, and man eyes and man posture up here, and man eyes and man posture down there. So that means I'm staring directly at the wide receiver, and where he goes, I go. But I'm not sure. So let's send somebody in motion, because as we've talked about before, if there's a guy who's coming in motion and there's somebody on defense that matches him, that probably means we're playing man. So let's send that guy in motion and see what happens. Oh. We got a match. He's following him. That means we probably got man across the board. Okay, we're actually in a good situation because this guy is going to run a crossing route. He's going to take Cooper DeJean and drag him all the way across the field. The next person is going to be running this vertical all the way up here, and we're going to bet that my fast wide receiver is going to outrun everybody because the safeties are going to be gone. I'm going to have actually a pretty good completion. Well, let's watch Cooper DeJean here. Looks like he's got man steps. He's turned his hips open. It looks like he's going to run. So his pre-snap read and his post-snap read agree. We know that everything's in man coverage. That guy is going to get open. So we're going to wait for it. We're going to wait for it. Wait, where'd Cooper DeJean go? He should be playing right here. He's playing man coverage, right? How does Cooper DeJean end up with an interception that he's playing man coverage on? He's not. Cooper DeJean baited on his look what looked like man coverage. There's his man coverage. What the quarterback saw with his pre-snap and post-snap read before Luke Van Ness hit him in the face is that he's got a wide receiver running out in front of this defender. Without Cooper DeJean here, that's probably a touchdown. He's probably got that receiver all the way down. But what doesn't happen is a touchdown. Well, actually, it does happen just for the other team. Now, I have to say this. Offensive players are notoriously bad tacklers, but this is a terrific run. So, if you want to get a touchdown, you screw with the protection, you do a decoy with your defensive coverage, and you have a really good athlete playing defense. There's more to come on Cyhawk Game Day.